welcome to Faith on the Water. Your host, the Riverdog Evangelist. Oh, what you see off in the distance is something that you can only see in the entire world right here. Right here in Licking County. That is the top of the basket, the Longaberger basket. I don't know how many stories high it is, but it built by the Longaberger Corporation over 20 years ago. Of course, the business pretty much no longer exists, but at one time it employed a couple thousand people. At one time, a lot of people made a lot of money working there. If you look up at the clouds, beautiful. The heavens declare the glory of God. Whew, beautiful out. I see a bunch of ducks up here on these logs. If you can kind of get a look, they'll be taking off here in a minute. There they go. I don't know whether I'm going to get another look at the basket again when I go around this corner or not. I forget. I've done this numerous times, but I forget. In the future, as I talk about, or as I contemplate about what I will be talking about, Bible lessons, Bible scriptures, topical, I actually will put together, or I will actually not preach like I do from a pulpit, but I will familiarize myself with the notes that I do take with me up to the pulpit. Usually when I do preach, I'm a pretty good motor mouth. That's putting it lightly. So once I get started, I don't stop. I can say a lot in a half hour, and I can say a lot more in 45 minutes. So when I'm in a church setting, I don't miss a beat. I just once I start, I keep on moving. This, a little bit different. I mean, I can still communicate the essence of the sermon, but instead of just 20 minutes or a half hour or 40 minutes, which my average is probably 30 to 40 minutes, I can stretch it out over a solid hour. And that's what I'll do. I'll read a scripture, bring some notes out. I've had several suggestions from people. fact, someone the other day says, "Do you want some suggestions?" And I said, "Why not? I can't believe you're even asking, because I've gotten plenty of suggestions from people who haven't asked," which is fine. And I just kind of chuckled at it. Yeah, sure. And they give me some suggestion on something. I said, okay, yeah, you're right. So I got a lot of people kind of watch, and that's what I've asked to do. I said, hey, give me some insight. Give me some hot tips. What works and what doesn't work. And I'll be glad to try to take it to heart, make an adjustment, and adapt here or there. But I'll pick a scripture, pick a story in the Bible, a parable. They asked Jesus, why do you teach in parables? I forget how many parables there are in the Bible, 20, 30, I don't know. I love dancing around the parables. Parable is an earthly story with a heavenly meaning. That's the common man definition. Earthly story with a heavenly meaning. And that's what they are. They're earthly stories. Jesus talked about trees. He talked about money, coins, fish, people, animals. So he talked about all kinds of different things. There we go. When it comes to the animal kingdom, there are actually 160 animals mentioned in the Bible. So when it comes to Riverdog Ranger River Review on this section of the river, from the park, Don Edwards Park, to Stadden's Bridge, there are no houses that show up on either side. I did spot one vehicle on a very, very short section of it, but that was only one. I didn't hear any vehicles. I heard some equipment back there someplace just a few minutes ago, but that's been the only one. Pretty quiet. And I'm right. This is in Newark. Newark is off to my left, the city of Newark. Some deep water right here. The only thing that will really change from right now to maybe next spring was a few trees will be here or there. The stream may change a little bit this way or that way, but there won't be huge changes. The biggest concern is a tree blocking your way that is either a strainer or where you can get caught in it. The black hand gorge that you have seen in my second video, and I believe you'll see it in my third one as well, part of it, is probably 6 miles south, 6 miles from downriver. So total, you could paddle this river from Don Edwards Park, where I put in, all the way to Toboso. Might be about 12 miles, 10 to 12 miles. Oh, there we go, off to my left. See the basket? So you're able to see the basket. Didn't really realize it was this close to the river, but it is. I mean, I should come to that conclusion. That's pretty neat. Route 16 is just on the other side of it. Let me know in the comments if you want me to address a particular topic or theme. I'll take it into consideration. I know what some smart aleck's going to do is say, "Where did Cain get his wife?" And that's okay, you know. People can't help. Oh, something flying at me right here to my right. Oh, it's just a Canada goose, I think. Maybe not. Coming at me. No, that's not a goose. That's a loon. Either a loon or a fish-eating bird. That big tree just let loose not too long ago. You can see where it was holding on. And that what we're looking at to my left with that big tree root, 2 years from now, all of the dirt will be yanked off of it. The high water will kind of strip it. Probably that tree will probably be sitting there for the next 10 years. It may sit there and completely rot away. It's anchored pretty good. When I talked to Dennis Gracepath the other day, I dropped off my card. And he's busy. And as we all are, who's doing anything of any significance. And so I'm still learning my way around the YouTube platform. Spotify, I can't figure that out for nothing, but I'll eventually figure that out. But I asked Dennis Gracepath, I said, hey, I was looking at my analytics the other day, and I've heard other podcasters say that, well, I'm looking at my analytics. I never knew what they were talking about, really. Well, I saw a little icon there, said analytics, so I thought, well, okay. Then I found out that Dennis Gracepath and I are the only ones who, as administrators, are the only one who can see the analytics. I said, okay. So that's where you can get into your, kind of in the back room of your platform. So I was looking at different things, trying to figure it out. But one of the things I came upon was, and again, I'm still learning. I'm sure whoever's listening to this is listening to me saying, oh, you dummy. But that's okay. I'm figuring it out. But one of the things that jumped out at me was my watch time. And so I looked at it, and it gives the average watch time. Excuse me. And for example, the podcast, I think number 2 was 44 minutes. So watch time was over 5 minutes. So I thought, well, that's a bummer. 44-minute podcast and only 5 minutes. You can see the basket behind me. I'll paddle this again when the leaves are turning. You'll be able to see more of the basket up there. You'll be able to see a lot more. So my plan is to float at least these local rivers that are within an hour's driving, less than an hour's commute to. I hope to be able to float them in three seasons. Summer, of course. Summer, spring being, kind of combined. And then fall when the leaves change. And then wintertime or colder weather, November, on a good day, safe day, in a dry suit. When the leaves are completely gone and you're able to see it a little bit different. So it was only 5 minutes. Dennis, I said, Dennis says it's only 5 minutes. And he looked at me and he said, really? And I go, yeah. I said, that's kind of a bummer. And he goes, no. I go, but it's a 40-some minute podcast and the average watch time is only 5 minutes. And he says, no. He says, if it really said 5 minutes, I go, yeah, it did. He said, that's huge. I go, okay, if you say so. I'm relying on him and his expertise and insight. He knows what he's doing. Knows what he's done, knows what he's doing. There go the birds taking off again, the duck, water birds. So then he told me, so you know what the average watch time is on across the board? And I go, no. He said 3 seconds. I said, 3 seconds? He goes, yeah. Think about it. You pop on a YouTube channel. You read the title. You're not interested in it. You keep on moving. You're maybe on that for 1 second or 2 or 3. I said, okay. He said, with that being a 5 minutes, he said, that's significant, that's good. So that gave me encouragement to keep doing what I'm doing. With 2 uploads, he said, you just keep doing what you're doing. I said, well, at this point, as much as I enjoy this, I'll do this no matter what. Why would I do it? Even if I don't have much of an audience? Well, for a couple reasons. I'm instructed to do it. Paul told Timothy, preach the gospel, be instant in season and out of season, reprove, rebuke, and exhort with all long suffering, with patience. Gosh, I think that was another eagle. I've been in the ministry for 40 years doing it, and I've enjoyed it. Add this element to the equation. I have the time and the energy and the resources to continue to do it. So I will continue doing it no matter what and have fun doing it. Well, up ahead, if you look up ahead, there is Stadden's Bridge. That is my destination. And how disappointing that someone came out and camped and fished right there and just left everything. I've claimed my fair share of trash alongside the river over the years, working in the state parks. Some places are messier than others. For different reasons. Looks like to the right there they've had some erosion due to high water. They put a boat ramp in down here a couple years ago, and it's since received some damage. And what happened, it appears, the water came in, hit right there, bounced off of that, and then cut left, and then hit over into there, and then swirled around and started whooshing out by the bridge, and it damaged the boat ramp. So there you have it. Riverdog Ranger River Review. Don Edwards Park to Stadden's Bridge. It's going to be a challenge to balance what I want to do in regards to my content. Ideally, I would like to have more faith-based content, and maybe I think it'll vary. There goes a blue heron. I think it'll vary. Some floats, some adventures might end up being like 80% faith-based, Bible-based, Bible talk, topic, a little bit of culture thrown in, some history, the river. It may end up being 80% faith-based, and then the other 20% history and the river. Then again, another place I may be on the river, and most all of it may end up being Riverdog Ranger River Review. It may end up being 80% and very little faith-based content. To be quite truthful, I'm not really going to worry about it. I'm not really going to concern myself with it. I'll pick a topic, a thought, an idea, and I'll just destination. There's a lot of planning that goes into what I'm doing. A lot of logistics, preparation. Not complaining, but that's just the way it is. So I'm not going to concern myself with, it's got to be 80% faith-based and just with a little bit of history. I'll present what I have, and you will either like it and subscribe and comment, or you won't. Yeah, there was a lot of water hitting that bank right there. I see where it whooshed it away, and it was working on the whole ramp. The ramp's right up above there, so it was working on destroying. I believe there was a big tree right there, either a big sycamore or cottonwood tree, I think was right there, and it looks like it took that out. So they're going to have to put some more riprap, I'm sure, dump it right there. Pretty soon, or come winter time, the water's just going to keep working, and they're not so much concerned about the ramp as they are about the abutment of the bridge right there. So this is Stadden's Bridge. And we are at the end of the float. I'm going to go ahead and check my time. 1:20. Two hours it took. Of course, if you have a group of 3 or 4 or 5, you're going to have, it's going to slow you up a little bit. Whoa. Okay. Some of the most dangerous part of this is launch, getting in and out. Okay. This has been a production of Faithful in the Water with your Riverdog Evangelist. Blessings to you and yours.